Nicki Minaj just lit a match, and the whole industry might go up in flames. Poof! In a bold move that left fans stunned, Nicki publicly threw her support behind Deore Hadley, the estranged daughter of Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez, who's accusing her powerful mother of launching a disturbing years-long campaign of surveillance, harassment, and manipulation. And Nicki didn't stop there. She hinted that the same tactics were used against her. Now the question is, what's really going on behind the gates of Roc Nation? This isn't your typical celebrity scandal. We're talking about GPS trackers, hidden cameras, cloned phones, and attempts to silence people by declaring them mentally unstable. And the person allegedly behind all of it, a woman with deep ties to Jay-Z and the power to move entire industries. Nicki Minaj has stayed quiet for years, but now she's making it crystal clear. Something dark is going on behind the scenes, and what she just revealed could change everything. Nicki Minaj just took aim at Roc Nation, and she wasn't subtle about it. In a series of posts, she claimed her social media accounts had been accessed without her consent for years. She didn't even change the passwords. She let it happen. Why? Because she wanted proof of who was behind it. Then she publicly backed Deore Hadley, the daughter of Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez, who's accusing her mother of running a disturbing campaign of stalking, surveillance, and manipulation. Nicki tweeted, "Enough is enough. You have no idea how disgusting it gets." She even hinted that the real reason she hasn't released new music is because of these behind-the-scenes attacks. "Never call me a liar," she warned. "Every angel ever created fights for me when you do." Deore responded with a simple but powerful message. "Thank you, I'm so grateful." But why is Nicki supporting someone she's never met? What Deore revealed about her mother and Nicki's own connection to the chaos says it all. Deore Hadley isn't just another woman with a heartbreaking story. She's the daughter of Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation, and one of the most powerful women in the music industry. But instead of living a life of luxury, Deore says her life has become a nightmare. In a shocking lawsuit, she accuses her own mother of launching a full-scale campaign to destroy her and her husband, Javon. The list of allegations sounds unreal. GPS trackers on her car, a hidden camera in her bathroom, hacked phones, and attempts to have her committed under false claims of mental illness and drug use. And the motive? Deore says it all comes down to control. She claims Desiree tried to strip away her freedom and take legal guardianship over her, not because she was unstable, but because she wouldn't fall in line. And her husband? Deore says Desiree never accepted him, partly due to racism and classism. She wanted her daughter to marry someone rich and acceptable. Javon didn't fit the mold, and that made him a threat. So instead of accepting their love, Desiree allegedly tried to tear them apart. But what started as a toxic family feud quickly escalated into something much darker and far more dangerous. It started with a simple argument in their home, but ended with the police storming in, claiming they were responding to a violent emergency. The twist: no one had called for help. According to Deore, the call came from her mother, who was watching them through a hidden camera she allegedly planted in their bedroom. That was just the beginning. Deore and Javon say they later discovered a camera hidden in their bathroom, facing the shower. Police even warned them that they were being watched from New York in real time. Terrified, they moved out, but they didn't escape. Deore claims Desiree then rented a house directly across the street from them and hired private investigators, some licensed, some not, to monitor them around the clock. These weren't ordinary investigators either. Some were allegedly armed, some followed them, some even showed up at Javon's nephew's school. According to body cam footage, one investigator admitted to placing a GPS tracker on Deore's car. It wasn't just surveillance, it was intimidation. And according to Deore, it was all part of a much bigger plan. What came next would push her to the edge. Once Deore realized she was being watched, the pressure didn't stop. It escalated. She says her mother, Desiree, began using psychological tactics to paint her as mentally unstable. One incident stands out. Deore was told to attend a business Zoom meeting with someone from Nike Academy, but when she logged in, the director turned out to be a therapist specializing in private adult club recovery. The name and credentials? Fake. The meeting? A setup. Then came the trap. Deore got a call saying her uncle was dying. When she arrived at the house, she says Desiree locked the gates, physically attacked her, and whispered, "If you try to leave and go back to that man, I'll have you committed." Police were called, and when they arrived, Desiree allegedly told them Deore had said she wanted to harm herself. But Deore denies ever saying that. Her only mistake, showing up for what she thought was a family emergency. It didn't end there. In another instance, she says she was surrounded at what she thought was a business meeting by officers and private investigators pretending to be part of a crisis unit, one of whom was a psychiatrist who had never even met her but signed the order to have her forcibly committed. They told her she had tried to OD the night before, a claim proven false by hospital drug tests, but even with clean results, she wasn't released. This wasn't concern. According to Deore, it was strategy, a legal trap to strip her of her rights. While Deore was fighting for her freedom, her husband Javon was being targeted too. According to her, Desiree wasn't just trying to separate them emotionally, she was trying to remove him entirely. It started with a false accusation. On September 11th, 2023, police stormed into their room claiming they'd received a report of domestic violence. Body cam footage later showed Deore telling officers there was no abuse, no bruises, and no incident, just a verbal argument over a business call. But the call had come from Desiree, allegedly watching through a hidden camera. After they moved, Deore says the pressure kept building. Private investigators followed them. She claims Desiree even sent someone to Javon's nephew's school. Then out of nowhere, Javon was arrested during a family trip to a local farm, right in front of children. Deore says she confronted her mother immediately. "Did you get him arrested?" she asked. Desiree's response, "Yes, because he's an abuser." But here's the twist. The arrest wasn't based on new evidence. It was allegedly based on an edited video from 2022 where Deore admits she was sick with COVID and lashed out at Javon over jealousy. In the original footage, she swung a Swiffer mop and Javon blocked it. In the version police received, that part was blurred to make it look like he was the aggressor. Even then, Javon wasn't charged with anything serious. No convictions, no DV charges that stuck. Still, the damage was done, and the attempts to tear their family apart were far from over. After Javon's arrest, Deore says she finally saw the full scope of what was happening, and it was bigger than just family drama. According to her, leaked emails between Desiree Perez and attorney Brett Schwartz revealed a disturbing plan to have her legally declared incompetent so she couldn't testify on Javon's behalf. They allegedly discussed hiring a brainwashing expert and a doctor to build a case for commitment. But they made one critical mistake. They blind copied the state attorney's office. Now Deore had proof. In the emails, Schwartz allegedly suggested that if they could get her committed, Javon could be charged and convicted while she was out of the picture. All this was happening behind her back while she was trying to make peace and keep her family together. But that wasn't the worst part. Deore claims her iCloud, Apple Watch, and email accounts were hacked. Her business emails were reportedly pinging back to Roc Nation servers. Private messages were allegedly edited and used as fake evidence to support the abuse narrative against Javon. With forensic experts, Deore says she confirmed her devices had been cloned and that someone had full access to her private data in real time. This wasn't just emotional warfare. According to her, it was a digital takedown operation. As if the surveillance, stalking, and arrests weren't enough, Desiree allegedly tried to take things even further by filing for legal guardianship over her own daughter. According to Deore, this was the end game. If granted, Desiree would have had full legal control over her life, just like the infamous Britney Spears and Wendy Williams cases. And with the Baker Act and Marchman Act already used to detain her, the court might have believed she was mentally unfit. But there was one problem with Desiree's plan. The evidence didn't match the story. Hospital tests showed Deore had no drugs in her system. Multiple doctors refused to support the commitment. One even called out another doctor in front of her, saying the case wasn't looking good. That same day, Deore says Desiree voluntarily dropped the Marchman Act petition. The guardianship attempt quietly fell apart. Still, the damage wasn't just legal, it was emotional. Deore says her mother even listed her former boss, who allegedly fired her under pressure, as a witness in the guardianship case. It was a calculated move to strip her of her identity, independence, and credibility. But when that failed, the focus shifted again back to Javon. Even after the DV case against Javon was dropped, the attacks didn't stop. Deore claims Desiree was determined to take her husband down by any means necessary. She says a Roc Nation assistant named Natalie Anderson allegedly approached Deore's therapist and played a fake audio recording. In the clip, a woman could be heard screaming, "Don't rape me," trying to suggest Javon was involved, but the voice wasn't even hers. The therapist immediately saw through it. Deore recognized the woman too. It was someone from Desiree's inner circle. Then came the final setup. Deore was invited to what she thought was a business meeting at Royal Palm Yacht Basin. Instead, she says she was ambushed by a fake crisis team. Private investigators, doctors, and officers working together to have her committed again. Leading the charge was Dr. Daniel Bober, Roc Nation's alleged go-to psychiatrist. She was taken to the hospital. Doctors told her she had overdosed the night before, a claim proven false by clean toxicology reports. Still, they held her. Still, they tried to push the narrative, and still, her mother kept filing to have her legally controlled, but it didn't work. When one of the doctors finally saw the full story, including documentation and messages, he called another doctor and apologized. The very next day, the case was dismissed. But by then, Deore says the damage had already been done. Nicki Minaj didn't just randomly jump into this fight. She saw herself in Deore's story. Without naming names directly, Nicki began dropping hints that what Deore was experiencing felt all too familiar. In a tweet, she wrote, "Trying to tear a husband away from his wife and family with lies and friends in high places. Yuck." She wasn't just speaking as a fan, she was speaking from experience. Deore later said she believes Nicki has dealt with the same tactics, from public sabotage to personal attacks. She even claimed Nicki's husband and child were targeted too. And while Nicki hasn't laid out the full story, her cryptic messages make one thing clear. She's been holding back, but now she's done staying silent. Then came an even deeper accusation. Deore said Roc Nation has ties to TMZ and that they tried to manipulate coverage by reaching out to the state attorney's office with false narratives. Nicki hinted at it too. She tweeted, "No one hates a happy marriage more than people stuck in an unhappy one." If Nicki's right and these tactics are common behind the scenes, then Deore's story might not be an isolated nightmare. It could be part of a much bigger pattern in the industry. After everything, surveillance, false arrests, attempted commitment, and a failed guardianship, Deore finally did what she had to do. She filed a lawsuit against her own mother, but the legal fight came with consequences. A judge granted Desiree Perez a gag order, effectively silencing Deore from speaking out any further. And now, Desiree's team is pushing to have her sanctioned for what she's already said. Deore, however, isn't backing down. She says she has receipts, emails, audio, video, forensic data, everything she needs to prove her case in court. But until then, she's being muzzled and her mother's machine is still running in full force. The cost of speaking out, Deore says she's lost almost everything: her job, her access to her family, and even the chance to say goodbye to her grandmother. She claims Desiree used her power of attorney to block contact with her own grandfather, who now has Alzheimer's and still asks for her every day. But for Deore, this isn't just about revenge, it's about survival. Nicki Minaj didn't make a random statement. She saw something that mirrored her own experience and spoke up. And now that the truth is spilling out, the world is getting a rare glimpse behind the Roc Nation curtain. So here's the real question. If all of this is true, how many others have been silenced? Deore's story might sound extreme, but what if it's not an exception? What if it's the rule? Let us know what you think in the comments. Was Nicki brave for stepping in? Is this just the beginning of a much bigger industry unraveling? Hit that like button if you made it this far, and subscribe for more deep dives like this. Because the truth is, what's done in the dark always finds its way into the light.